What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And they actually released a bunch of new content today. Surprise, you know, Dokkan actually releasing content, which is kind of wild. But yeah, hell yeah, they actually released like a bunch of new events, like the Red Zone events. There's some new stages to take on, some new missions to get your hands on some Dragon Stones. And of course, we know that Gogeta, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, Frieza and Goku, they're going to be arriving, you know, sometime next week, or even towards the end of this week, actually. Like, they're not far away, and this is going to be a good opportunity to farm up some Dragon Stones to get ready for those banners, because we know that, well, at least we don't know what they do yet, but we can have a pretty good idea that these units are going to be pretty powerful. I mean, especially Gogeta, if he's anything like what Vegito is, I mean, we can fully expect him to be crazy. And look, at the end of the day, the banners are probably going to get top grossing, let's be real, which will net, you know, even more Dragon Stones for the community, which is awesome. But, you know, you want to get prepared for this, so, you know, go ahead and do this, and it gives you something to use these new units on, of course, which is what we're doing today. So speaking of this event, this is the Dokkan Ultimate Thrilling Battle. Apparently, this event has actually come out before in the past, but this is a new iteration of the event. Now, in this event, it's just a single one-stage event, and you have to go ahead and kill BUUHAN as fast as you possibly can. Well, that's some of the missions for this particular content. So, it's not too tricky, actually. Like, this guy, he does have the ability to hit hard. Like, his super attacks can do anywhere between 1.8 to 2.1 million damage. So, of course, if you've got enough defense to tank that, it's not going to be that big of an issue. But with the thing about this guy is that he does have a skill that can recover HP, obviously pretty annoying. He does have a damage threshold, so you have to deal over a certain amount of damage before it actually counts as flat damage to the BUUHAN, which can be a little bit of an issue. So depending on your team composition, you really have to be careful about that. With the team that we have here, we don't really have that issue. Depending on you know, the way that attacks fall, like some of our characters with additionals might cause an issue with that, but realistically it's not that big of a problem, especially if you have some of the more modern released characters here. Another thing to note about this content is like the missions, right? So you can have a look in game in terms of the missions, but there are actually quite a lot of missions, like clearing at multiple different times. There are missions based on how fast you kill this boss as well. So what they want you to do, or at least in terms of the speed clearing ones, I believe you get a reward for beating it within 10 turns. I think you get it if you beat it within 7 turns, and then you also get a reward if you beat it within 5 turns. So in this video here, I do believe I do get the win within the first 5 turns, which is dope. Of course, with the way that the new Vegito is designed, by the time you reach turn 5, you will be able to transform into Vegito. And, I mean, Vegito will probably carry you through that 5th turn to get that W, especially if he's attacking like a ton of times. Yeah, it definitely will help out. But of course, you got this like Gogeta as well, the tech Gogeta. Obviously a really, really good unit to be using for this content too. We're also using tech Gotenks because he's like one of my favorite units in the game. The guy's just an absolute beast. And you do notice in this team that we are using a lot of tech units. Main reason for that is that there are separate missions for every single typing in the game, where you have to build a team that has like 4 tech units. Then you have to run another team that has 4 AGL units, and then another team which is like 4 strength units, 4 physical, 4 intelligence. So you have to run like a team, like a different variation against this guy with 4 of one of the typings. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So not only are we fulfilling the time requirement, but we're also fulfilling the tech requirement for this team. And the tech one, especially if you have some of these more recently released characters, is actually very, very simple. I mean, especially you're seeing we're using Broly here. Broly, even though he is an extreme class character, it doesn't really matter. He has great synergy with this team. He's got pretty good links, the link with a lot of the other Super Saiyan characters, which is quite nice. And he just hits really hard. He tanks really well. So he's just a really valid option to be using here. So we're seeing in this instance here, we're also using the lead of the tech Gogeta, Vegito, should I say. The guy's an absolute beast, man. Like, straight away, like legit best unit in the game. I did actually make a tweet not long ago. Someone was asking me about like what were my top 10 like rankings for LR characters in Dokkan Battle. If you guys want to see like a video of me like talking about that, I could definitely do that for you guys. But hey, look, a lot of people in the community for Dokkan Battle, the much more larger community compared to Treasure Cruise, you know, they're pretty vocal in regards to that kind of thing. And I feel like in Dokkan, it's a little bit more clear-cut in terms of like who are the, you know, straight up top 10 best units in the game. Whereas like in Treasure Cruise standards, like it is a little bit ambiguous at times, and it is content dependent, where on Dokkan Battle, like, there's straight up like units you can just use for everything, and they're just like amazing for like all pieces of content, whereas it's not really like that in Treasure Cruise. Like, you actually need a variety of units to get through content. So it's just different games, you know. It's just different games, different play styles as well. So, you know, it is what it is, right? But overall, I think that this content is kind of nice. It's a little bit of a change of pace. It's not too difficult. I mean, the BUUHAN does have 300 million HP, which is pretty significant, but it's really not that tricky. I mean, again, we're using like a character like what's his face, Beast Gohan, right? Like, Beast Gohan, he's gonna tank everything, especially with type advantage too, which is quite nice. So yeah, not really too much else to say here about this battle, but it is a nice little change of pace that we do get this kind of content here. What I will say is, though, is that having to clear it a bunch of different times just to get the rewards, I'm really not a big fan of. I kind of like the way that other pieces of content are kind of designed, where if you run it with, like, you know, if you clear it, and then if you clear it with like 4 characters of a certain category, or a full team of a certain category, then you'll get like 5 Dragon Stones on top of it, rather than having to clear it like 5 different times to get the 5 Dragon Stones. You know, you could just clear it once, or clear it even twice, clear it once and then clear it once with another team, and then boom, you get like 10 Dragon Stones. It just gets through it a little bit quicker, because sometimes it can be a little monotonous, you know, taking on the content over and over again, especially when it does take, you know, over 10 minutes per run. It can get a little bit more annoying for sure. And I mean, look, this was probably the best team that I had to go up against this for clearing it with, like, in terms of the colors for all of the teams. So if I took up, like, let's say I run like a 4 physical team, that team would take me probably a lot longer to clear it compared to this tech one, because we are having like such a strong team. And this is like this is the turn where we have the big damage turn. So we get Broly's active skill, we have the fusion of the Goku and Vegeta into Gogeta, and then I did turn on the animations as well because they look so good. And as well as we had the Goku and Vegeta Potaro transformation into Vegito. I saw a lot of people complaining about the new Gogeta animation, saying, "Oh my god, it looks the same as the tech Gogeta." But I mean, like, how can they really make it that much different? If they wanted to make it legitimately the same character from the same film, there are going to be some similarities. I think people need to cut it some slack. You know what I mean? People are a little crazy, but either way, I'm really excited for these new characters coming up in part 2 of the celebration. And of course, I will be bringing you guys a summon video for Gogeta and Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Hopefully we get just as much luck as we did in part 1 of the anniversary, because that went really, really well for us. Hopefully you enjoyed the video though. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more Dokkan Battle content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.